We're about to lose our democracy, so we have
Good morning, everyone. My name is Anna Millar, and I have the true honor and privilege as serving as the board chair for Habitat for Humanity, Orange County. It is my great pleasure to welcome each of you to our first annual Opening Doors Housing Summit. Thank you all for joining us on yet another winter weather advisory day. I do know this wreaks havoc on everyone's schedule, so we are all delighted to see all of the chairs filled in the room today. This summit represents not only an opportunity to open doors to homes, but also a pivotal moment for generating momentum and fostering collective action to address the most pressing housing challenges facing our region. Before we proceed with today's program, I invite Reverend Justin Coleman, Senior Pastor of the University United Methodist Church, to open our time together with an offer of invocation.
Thank you. It is so good to be in a room filled with so many familiar faces, so many friends, so many people who care about people in our community and beyond. Let's begin with our word of prayer together. Holy and gracious God, we give thanks for this gathering and for the shared desire that has brought us to the table this morning. We thank you for the gift of shelter and for the deep human need to belong, to be safe, and to have a place to call home. As we listen for wisdom across experience, expertise, and lived reality, sharpen our compassion and enlarge our imagination. Bless the voices we will hear, the partnerships that we will strengthen, and the policies we will consider, that all may be guided by dignity, justice, and love of neighbor. Ground us in humility, move us toward courage, and help us leave this place more committed to opening doors that have been closed for far too long. In your holy name we pray. Amen. Amen.
So why invest our time, resources, and efforts into housing? Affordable housing plays a vital role in strengthening the fabric of our community. By ensuring that families have access to stable and affordable homes, they build the foundation they need to thrive and build a better future. This stability is essential not only for individual families, but for the overall well-being of our neighborhoods. The Chapel Hill Harborough Center for Commerce has found affordable housing to be a top barrier to recruiting and retaining the local workforce. When people are able to live near their place of employment without the burden of excessive housing costs, they are more likely to remain active and engaged members of the local workforce. This in turn supports the economic health of our entire community. Our community is often lauded as one of the best places to get a high-quality public education. We know affordable housing fosters educational success for children. When families are not forced to move frequently due to unaffordable rent or unstable living situations, children can remain in the same schools, develop strong relationships with teachers and peers, and focus on their learning and growth. Beyond its economic and educational benefits, affordable housing encourages diversity and economic mobility. It helps create neighborhoods where people from a variety of backgrounds can live together, learn from one another, and build lasting connections. This diversity enriches our community and opens opportunities for everyone to succeed. Your presence here today is a testament to your understanding of these issues, your belief in their importance, and your commitment to the shared values that guide our work together. At this time, I would like to express our special gratitude to our silver shingle sponsor for today's event, Cisco. Cisco has long been a valued partner and steadfast supporter of Habitat's work, and we truly appreciate their ongoing partnership in advancing affordable housing in the Triangle. To help open our program, I am pleased to invite Shana Tamber, Vice President of Market Access, Revenue Acceleration at Cisco, to the stage. Shana, thank you for joining us today.
Thank you, Anne. Good morning, everyone. I'm truly honored to be here representing our company as a presenting sponsor of this year's Habitat WUNC breakfast. It's inspiring to look around the room to see such a dedicated group of sponsors, community leaders, and volunteers, all united by the belief that everyone deserves a safe place to call home. This effort is near and dear to my heart, based on what you just said with regards to children. I personally, my family, we've adopted 2 children. And when you look to the foundational challenges on how those children ended up going into the foster system, it had to do with lack of housing, lack of a safe place for them to live. So very near and dear to my own heart in terms of the future of our country and the future of the children. At Cisco, giving back is more than just a corporate value. It's deeply woven into our culture. We've been proud partners with Habitat for Humanity since 1997. We've provided over $20 million in cash donations and products. And we have supported more than 175 Habitat affiliates worldwide. Our grants, which are typically around $10,000 for a build or a rebuild, bring together teams of Cisco volunteers who commit at least 15% of the labor for that home that we support. And when we partner, we had a conversation at breakfast with regards to a local partner, a local customer that we work to partner with us. We actually double that grant with another $10,000 contribution. We're able to multiply our impact with our customers and our partners. People magazine captured it well last year. At Cisco, we believe that safe, affordable housing is essential to strong, thriving communities. We're committed to helping individuals and families achieve housing stability, powered not only by our technology, but by our people. I've had the privilege to volunteer for many of our teams from the Bay Area and San Francisco all the way to this coast. And every time I'm on a Habitat site, I'm reminded that we're not just building homes. We're building hope, confidence, and community. It's work that changes us all for the better. Thank you to Habitat Orange for bringing us together, and thanks to all of you, sponsors, volunteers, and neighbors, for the work you do every day to make our commitment stronger. Cisco is grateful to stand by you. Thank you.
Thank you, Shana, and thank you for sharing your personal story. I think we could go around the room and ask most people here why they joined Habitat and why they are in this room today, and there's a personal story tying each of us here, so thank you for sharing that. We are deeply grateful for Cisco's steadfast commitment to our mission, and we appreciate your ongoing commitment to advancing affordable housing in the area. In addition to Cisco, we would like to express our sincere gratitude to our other sponsors, South State Bank and Triangle Community Foundation. Their generosity and commitment to our cause are a testament to how much these organizations care about expanding access to affordable housing in our region and beyond. This support enables us to continue our efforts and make a meaningful impact in the communities we serve. Thank you to both of you as well. There's another group whose leadership is vital in shaping the policies and building the partnerships that will define our path forward. At this time, I would like to also invite all of our elected officials who are present to please stand and be recognized. It is now my pleasure to introduce Jennifer Player, President and CEO of Habitat for Humanity Orange County. Jennifer's leadership continues to guide us towards our vision that everyone in Orange County would have a decent place to live. Under her guidance, Orange Habitat has implemented forward-thinking strategies that prioritize both immediate housing needs and long-term sustainability. As one of the top 50 producing Habitat affiliates in the country, Orange Habitat's success is a testament to Jennifer's strategic approach and dedication to our core values. Please join me in welcoming Jennifer to the stage.
Thank you, Anna. I so appreciate the support and leadership of our board of directors. And in fact, while Anna is getting settled at the table, would the folks here who are on our board of directors or serve on a committee or even was a former board member, I'd love for you to also stand so we can recognize and thank you. Some of you know that I have recently returned from a 2-month sabbatical, which means today was the first time that I put makeup on since mid-November. You see a smudge out of place, just ignore that and keep talking. But it also means that I haven't connected with many of you in a while. So as Justin said, it's just so good to see so many familiar faces here today, and it just means a lot for you to continue to support us over the years. I know many of you are braving today. We've got school closures or delays. We had traffic, cold, wet weather. So thank you again for being here. And I also know that there are a lot of new faces here, a lot of folks who may not be as familiar with Habitat. And so with that in mind, I hope you'll allow me a few minutes to just reintroduce our organization to the group. Since 1984, Habitat for Humanity of Orange County has been an integral part of this community, with deep roots extending across every part of the county, from the rural roads of Efland to the historic neighborhoods of Hillsborough, through the heart of Chapel Hill, the vibrant streets of Carrboro, and everywhere in between. Still, some people are surprised to learn that Habitat has a home repair program. This initiative is vital to our work preserving our community and preventing displacement. Through this program, we address urgent needs by repairing homes that are in unsafe and deteriorated condition or that need accessibility modifications, ensuring that residents can remain in their homes with safety and dignity. Over the years, Habitat has repaired 318 houses in our county, enabling longtime residents to remain in the homes that they love. Many of these homes have been in families for generations, anchors of history, of culture, and belonging. Repairing them is more than construction. It is anti-displacement, anti-gentrification work. It is a commitment to not only preserving the fabric and history of this rich community, but also preserving generational assets. These repairs are not concentrated in a single neighborhood, rather they are distributed throughout the county and everything throughout the county. And that reflects the diverse makeup of those who call this place home. The vast majority of the homeowners served through these repairs are seniors living on less than 30% of the area median income. Many live in harsh and unsafe conditions with roofs that leak water into the home when it rains, floors so deteriorated they threaten to collapse, and in some cases, homes still lacking indoor plumbing. I've thought so often in the past 2 weeks, as I'm sure many of you have, about the families with broken heating systems or poor insulation during this cold spell. The other thing you may remember is that last summer, seemingly out of nowhere, Orange County was rocked by Tropical Storm Chantal. Habitat's home repair team sprang into action with generators and fans, collaborating with mutual aid to clean out damaged homes. We then began to repair as many of the impacted homes as possible, all at no cost whatsoever to the homeowners who had already suffered so much. I'm thrilled to share those families affected by the storm will be returning very soon to their restored homes. following months of displacement as Habitat completely rebuilt floors and walls that were damaged from the flood. Now, most of you probably know Habitat from our new home construction program. So to date in that program, we have built and sold 382 new homes throughout the county, and we have, I think at last count, another 27 homes under construction in our Weavers Grove neighborhood in Chapel Hill. What we all know is that homeownership is more than just a roof over someone's head. It is a foundation for stability and opportunity. In response to the growing need over the past few years, Orange Habitat has increased our production, going from building about 12 homes a year to building now around 20 homes per year. And we are poised next year, those on our staff, just take a big gulp, to increase that number again to 38 homes per year. Yes, we drink a lot of coffee. But this isn't about numbers. Each home represents a person, a family, a story, a future. Like Jasmine, who is a teaching assistant who was driving from many, many miles away to her job at Chapel Hill Carborough City Schools. And she also works in the afternoon at a local daycare center. She now will get to see her daughters grow up in Weavers Grove in a thriving mixed income neighborhood, which is much closer to Jasmine's work. Or John, who moved into the Crescent Magnolia neighborhood, our senior community, to care for his wife who had dementia. After she passed, John shared with us that he credits the stability and comfort of their Habitat home with adding years to her life. And then there's Regina, who found refuge from domestic violence and purchased her first home through Habitat, providing a safe and hopeful future for her children. There are countless more stories of community members whose lives have been transformed through Habitat's first-time homebuyer program. Each of these individuals has realized the dream of homeownership, but we know that we did not do that alone. Every Habitat home and every repair project represents a unique partnership. Volunteers, many of you in the room, who have dedicated their time, donors who believe in our mission, elected officials who champion affordable housing, and most importantly, the families who contribute their time and their determination. This room, when I look around, is filled with people who have walked alongside us and have made this impactful work possible. So please give yourselves a well-deserved round of applause for the pivotal role you play in making safe, affordable housing a reality for so many. Yeah, I want to emphasize something today, and that is we need you now more than ever. And when I say we, I don't just mean Habitat, I mean the entire community. For every Jasmine and John and Regina, we all know that there are thousands more right here in Orange County, much less looking at the broader triangle, who don't have a decent home that they can afford. And as I'm sure you will hear from our panelists, the challenges facing the housing market are unprecedented. Construction costs continue to rise rapidly, land is scarce, and I wish I could say nonprofits were exempt from these realities, but we're not. The need for affordable housing is growing faster than any one organization can meet. In the Chapel Hill Carborough market, as of last month, the median home price is now $721,000. It's easy to understand how so many in this community feel hopeless. The reality is that the goal of owning a home is slipping away for countless neighbors, leaving people feeling discouraged in the face of these staggering prices. In recent years, we have seen remarkable progress in our collective efforts to address affordable housing. At Habitat, our fundraising initiatives have grown stronger. Local governments, led by so many here, have demonstrated increased support, and financial partners are offering discounted mortgages and loans. These advances are truly encouraging and reflect the deep commitment of our community. However, despite these achievements, substantial subsidy gaps remain, particularly for families at the lowest income levels. The reality is that many of our neighbors still face significant barriers to securing a safe and affordable home. As a community, we must continue to engage in these necessary, although sometimes challenging conversations. We must wrestle with the issues of affordability, equity, and the fundamental question of who gets to call this place home. Homeownership seems like a distant and attainable dream for so many as the area median income rises year after year, while wages at the lower end remain stagnant. These challenges are not easy, but acknowledging them is essential as we work towards solutions that ensure everyone in Orange County can thrive. I think it's also important to acknowledge that homeownership in America was built on systems of inequity, policies that excluded Black families and other families of color from the very opportunities that created wealth and opportunity for so many. And while much progress has been made, thanks to the tireless work of many in this room, the effects of those practices still shape the problem today. So I want to take a minute as I close to look around this room. I was asked today, well, who are the people who are in the audience? And today we are joined by, we've already said, elected officials, our board, our committees, some of our staff, our donors, our volunteers. We're also joined by developers, builders, real estate agents, financial institutions, the Chamber of Commerce, local engineers, affordable housing providers, foundations, landowners, small businesses, major employers, and just for an added bonus, the captain of the 2009 UNC men's basketball team. Who also now works and is leading many efforts at our beloved university. So what if we truly leverage the power of the people who are gathered in this room today? What if we came together across sectors, across roles, across the full housing continuum to move affordable housing forward in a meaningful way? Imagine the impact we could make if each of us committed to collaboration, to partnership, to action after we leave this room. My staff and board know that I am an optimist, and I believe we can. I believe that together we can find creative solutions that open the door to homeownership for more local families. I also believe that together is the only path forward. So let's bring our ideas, our strongest partnerships, and our most determined selves. Let's refuse to get comfortable, and let's refuse to rest until everyone in Orange County has a decent place to live. So now let's move toward our panel discussion. As Anna said this morning, our goal with this event is to bring together voices and expertise from all levels. We'll have a national perspective, a state perspective, and our local perspective to address the affordable housing crisis head on. Each level brings distinct resources, perspectives, and policy levers that, when aligned, amplify our impact. The summit is a unique opportunity to share challenges, explore innovative solutions, and strengthen partnerships that drive real progress. So it is now my honor to introduce my friend and fellow Tar Heel, Jonathan Reckford, the Chief Executive Officer of Habitat for Humanity International. Just a few more minutes. Jonathan is one of the few people I know who can talk to you about housing policy and you leave the conversation feeling more hopeful and also a little bit smarter. Jonathan is a tireless advocate for affordable housing, and his leadership has inspired transformative change worldwide. Over the past 50 years, Habitat for Humanity has helped more than 65 million people build or improve the place they call home. We actually now have a team this week doing work in building houses in Honduras. Important for this conversation, under his tenure, Habitat for Humanity has significantly expanded its advocacy and policy efforts. This work has exponentially increased the number of families Habitat can serve each year by unlocking resources, shaping smarter housing policy, and strengthening our collective voice for affordable homeownership. So kindly join me, again, in extending a warm welcome to Jonathan Reckford.
Good morning. It is just always a joy to be home. So there are places I grudgingly go and places I lean towards, and I say yes much more often to coming back here. And what I want to do briefly, Jennifer just did such a great job of talking about some of the work we're doing, is to set a broad context of how we got here. Hopefully not spend too much time admiring the problem, but then talking about solutions we are seeing. I'm going to focus particularly in the U.S. context today for where we are. The bad news is the gap between what it costs to create a unit of housing and what a family can afford is the widest it's been in modern history. And it's if you look back at how we got here, it's really a whole series of things. It starts in many ways with the 2008 housing crisis. And so we had, I won't go into all the things that led to that, but after the housing crisis, we lost a huge number of the small builders. Traditionally, the large builders build about 40%, medium-sized builders 20%, small builders build 40%. The small builders basically got wiped out, except for the very high-end builders. And so we lost a huge amount of supply capacity. And then as those communities recovered, we underbuilt, depending on whose math you use, by hundreds of thousands of units a year. And that started compounding year over year over year. And then COVID hit, which was really a perfect storm of everything going wrong. One could argue in retrospect that interest rates were too low too long. So with negative rates in Europe and zero rates in the US, money flowed into real estate disproportionately, and that drove up land prices significantly. Then suddenly during COVID, everybody wanted more housing. Demand went up. Everybody in an apartment wanted a house. Everybody in the house wanted a second house far away from other people. And suddenly, and yet supply chains were interrupted, so actually construction went backwards, and we saw significant inflation in land, in building materials, in skilled labor, and suddenly in financing costs as inflation hit, so which is a significant additional piece. So suddenly, even a good-hearted developer, and we are a very good-hearted developer, it gets really hard to figure out how to make the math work. And so it's going to take, the bad news, there's no magic bullet. There's no one easy answer that's going to solve the housing supply problem. But I would argue that it is fundamentally a supply problem right now. And there have been a lot of really important and valuable demand-side initiatives to help lower income and moderate income families on affordability. But if we keep helping on the demand side and don't solve the supply side, what happens? Because we have smart academics in the room, we just keep driving prices further up. And so the gap actually gets further. We don't solve the gap. And so it's going to take a mix. Now, if I can bring good out of bad, everyone now is leaning in on housing. We had actually an affordability crisis in the country for a long time. Harvard puts out great data every year in terms of the number of cost-burdened families. Here in North Carolina, 28% of families are cost-burdened. In Orange County, it's 31%. So we're above average, as we usually are here in Chapel Hill. But that's not a good one to win on. And it's only getting worse. And so, but now, and I say this with a little bit of sadness, now that middle-class families' children cannot afford housing in the communities in which they grew up, it's become a political issue. We already had a huge affordability issue, but now it's a political issue. And I do think that means we have an opportunity now to make movement at the local level, state level, federal level, maybe that's unprecedented in recent times in terms of movement. Next week, Jennifer will join 450 other Habitat leaders, home buyers, and board members in Washington. We'll do a couple days of training and policy work, and then try to meet with every member of Congress. And we've got significant bills. The Road to Housing bill in the Senate and the Housing for the 21st Century bill in the House are both significant pieces of federal legislation, as well as trying to support the home, which is probably the best federal vehicle for creating new supply of housing. So that's a big deal because the federal money is an important piece of solving the math. But we also need state. I'm glad Representative Buansi's here to talk about that. The state plays a really important role in land use zoning and financing, and locally, obviously, housing is always local. And that's where all of you can help in the cause, because it's not going to be one magic bullet. I shared with Chancellor Roberts earlier, I had a fascinating conversation with the mayor of our neighboring state, South Carolina, wealthy coastal area of South Carolina. He got religion on housing, and he had gone a complete 180 and was now saying, we have to build more housing, we need more density, we need more affordable, we need mixed income. And I was like, wow, what happened? Take a pause. I've got to get my kid out of my basement. It became personal. And in a way, what we have to do is take this theoretical issue and make it personal in a way that allows people to overcome the one area of real bipartisan agreement in our country, which is not in my backyard. And even in my beloved town of Chapel Hill, Weaver's Grove, it's just a beautiful project. Now everybody knows that. Everyone's celebrating it. Anybody remember how many years it took to get that entitled? 18 years in the most liberal town in the state of North Carolina. So this is not great. We can do better. And I think it is not just making the moral case, but making the economic case that we all lose. And so as we think about solutions, we know the data is overwhelmingly clear that mixed income, mixed use is the best approach. But our cities have started moving away from that over time as we've become increasingly economically segregated. And there are a lot of levers we can pull. So as we think first, how do we increase supply? One thing that doesn't cost very much, but takes some collective action, is to make it faster and easier to build. There's a huge tax in terms of how long it takes to get through the entitlement process and get through the development process. And that just adds to the math problem. It doesn't actually cost a lot to shrink that. But that material, if you can lower the risk and the uncertainty of building, that's a big deal. So if you break the components apart, the true cost of housing in many ways is your rent or mortgage, but that's only the beginning. You also have to add your utility bill. Those have been going up. Then you've got to add your insurance. Those have been skyrocketing now. I don't know about Chapel Hill. It's really bad along the Gulf Coast, but increasingly all over the country, we're seeing insurance become an enormous barrier. And then even your cost to get to work. And so that's, again, transit-oriented, building dense, smart density where people can have access to transit and easily get to work. Doesn't mean we need density in every single neighborhood, but we need more density in general. And we need to make it, I think there's some simple things. Some of the policies that were passed 40, 50 years ago don't make sense for the way families are formed today and the way people are living. So we need to get rid of minimum lot sizes. We need to get rid of parking minimums, especially where you've got access to transit. We've got to think about supply incentives. And that's one of our biggest federal initiatives right now is an incentive for developers who are building low and mixed income. And I've always thought about how do you have the carrots and sticks. I don't know who the developers are in the room. A friend of mine said, and I'm not sure this is the friendliest version of it, he said it's not carrots and sticks, it's a 2x4 in cake. And I thought that was a funny image. So, naturally, most developers are going to move towards the higher end because that's where you can still make money. And so the question is, how do you actually make the math work so